Look, guns don't kill people. People kill people. That's a fact. And facts don't care about feelings. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all doing well, man. How am I doing? Oh, I'm too blessed to be stressed. So you already know. God is taking care of me. God is in charge. I let him handle all my battles and I give my faith into him and he takes care of it all, man. So be inspired. Be inspired to go check out the merch. Make sure you go to my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link down here in the description and all that good stuff. You'll see it floating around. Probably see shirts going around about me. But pick up this pro Second Amendment shirt here. This one is pro Second Amendment. It's a hot shirt. I love it. It's like kind of like a jersey kind of thing. You got the flag on one side, star on the other side, and the design is the stars and stripes. All that good stuff. Yeah, this is a great segue into the video today. Today we are talking about guns and gun violence and all that good stuff because there were a couple of shootings that happened recently, and one's getting a lot of press. One isn't getting so much press. I mean, it was several shootings actually. A lot of crazy stuff. A lot of people, and recently in the past year or so, maybe even longer, but that I've been following in the past year, they've been talking about banning AR-15s and banning certain guns. And a lot of people out there trying to ban guns, totally. And you see me, I'm pro Second Amendment. I don't want guns banned. I need to be able to protect my family. All right. But we'll get into all the details and stuff. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and leave comments. Let's talk about this in the comment section. Let's talk about all these topics. We're gonna talk about a lot of touchy stuff. We're gonna scare some people. We're gonna upset some people, and it's okay. Let's have a positive and respectful conversation, and let's spread positivity and love and truth. Truth is what we're here for. Truth shall set you free. All right, let's get into the video. So, first video is about the Jacksonville
We begin with
shooting.
breaking news in Jacksonville, Florida, where there are multiple fatalities following a standoff between a gunman and police at a Dollar General store.
Wasn't a standoff. I have to cut him off real quick. It was not a standoff. They went in there. The police went in there to clear, and they heard the gunshot. Guy, took himself out. Took the coward route. He went and killed people and did something very terrible. And my heart and my prayers and my condolences go out to the family, go out to the victims, and everybody who's involved in that situation. It was a terrible situation, and the coward took himself out. Didn't want to face, the punishment for his crime, for his actions, but he thinks that he avoided it. But we all know that there's a second situation going on once you pass. Then you gotta face God. Whether you believe or not, my faith is strong that when you pass, you go to a judgment. Whether you're judged, but when you're one of the righteous being judged, or you're one of the sinners being judged. Those who fell short, didn't repent, and chose to continue in wicked ways and not ask God for forgiveness and all that good stuff. So he's gonna face that judgment, regardless if he didn't face judgment here on earth. And that's the judgment that you rather not face. You rather face judgment here and think about it, say, you know what, I'm sorry, God forgive me, and have the opportunity to do that. But yeah, he took his way. It wasn't a standoff.
CBS's Michael George is tracking developments. Michael.
Scott, good evening. Law enforcement officials say the shooter is a white male in his 20s who was motivated by hate. All three victims in this shooting were black.
Yep. You see that? They made it. They always, when it comes to these kind of situations, you already know that they're going to make sure that they drill into your head and make it a big point to let you know that it was a white guy, he was racially motivated, and he killed black people. Because they're trying to push this narrative. They're trying to get us to be at odds with one another, continue this race war, and have anger and hatred towards one another. So they're going to point out the fact that this guy was a white man and he shot black people. All right? That's irrelevant. He was a human being who shot other human beings, and he deserves to be, punished for his crimes. And like I said, he took the coward way out. We don't need to have people, looking at each other like, oh, I'm black, you're white. You're one of those. Another one of you shot more of us and killed us. No, the person down there in the Walmart in aisle 7 had nothing to do with what happened there in Jacksonville. You know, they have nothing to do with it. You go get you a coffee at Starbucks. The barista, the white barista did not pull the trigger in Jacksonville, Florida. It was that one human being who did something terrible, who sinned greatly, who broke the 10 Commandments and murdered a few people, and they're going to be judged for that as as a person who committed sin, not as a white person who committed sin. All right? It has nothing to do with race. Let's stop race baiting.
The shooting happened at a Dollar General store in the northwest part of the city in the middle of the day.
Even if he was, racist, even if he was racially motivated, that's neither here nor there. The fact that people died, let's not turn it into political. That's a political thing. When you start talking about race, they're using it for political purposes, and they're trying to use this narrative to assist them in their political agendas, and we got to stop that. We got to stop that because we got to be more about people and love and community and values and morals and not this nonsense.
Jacksonville authorities say the suspect killed 2 males and 1 female before turning the gun on himself.
Plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated and he hated black people.
The sheriff says the shooter put on a mask and tactical vest in the parking lot.
You see what
The
I
weapons
mean?
that the shooter used today are a Glock and an AR-15 style rifle.
He left behind multiple messages, which authorities say amounted to an ideology of hate.
Yeah, they're gonna run that into your head and make sure that you understand that he had hate in his heart. He was hated black people. They showed you the kind of guns. These are all those talking points. These are all those things that they're making sure that you are thinking about in your head. Oh, he was white. His victims were black. He wrote racist things. He had a racist ideology. He, racism, black and white, going against each other. They want to make sure that you continue to have that in your head, just so that they have political agendas that helps them, gain people's, trust. Even though they're wolves in sheep clothing, and they have a different agenda than they're telling you, and so they're gonna use you and use your emotions and get you all emotional and use those emotions for their agenda. And we got to stop letting them do that. That's race bait. We got to stop letting them do that. And then they go, here's the next one, because they want to ban AR-15 style rifles. They have in some states, and those things are semi-automatic. Just like he showed 2 guns, he showed a pistol and an AR-15 style rifle. Those guns shoot exactly the same. They're both semi-automatic. I have myself a semi-automatic pistol sitting right here on my table, on my desk, and it shoots just the same as a semi-automatic rifle. It's almost only as fast as you can pull the trigger. All right. So they're just trying to because they blaming these school shootings on because a lot of it happens when they're using these AR-15s and these mass shootings and school shootings. But most crime, as far as gun violence goes, is used by other guns because they've done studies over the years. I have some old statistics, but it is definitely relevant today. This one talks about how only what is it? 16% of the homicides were used. They used assault weapons. This was in the 90s, and you can go and do your research and find something more recent. Oh, had to do some research, and I found this article from the Trace. It's talking about guns and used in mass shootings and um let's look here. Organizations data shows handguns are in fact the gun of choice in such attacks. Of 190 incidents dating back to 1966, perpetrators in 80% of attacks used at least one handgun, while 28% used a semi-automatic assault weapon like an AR-15 or its variants. Of those shooters who used an assault weapon, 70% also carried a handgun. Now, it's talking about domestic shootings, right? indoors. It's not just talking about killings. It's talking about people who were injured but not killed. All right. Saying that in 2010, more recent, 30% of incidents involved assault weapons, while 60% didn't. Right. They're saying assault weapons are used in more mass shootings, which is true. Right. People in mass shootings use assault weapons. And here they talking about all the different, you know, assault weapons. I was talking about we're looking beyond mass shootings. Handguns are used more. According to trace data from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, handguns accounted for nearly 3/4 of guns recovered at crime scenes in 2021, while rifles accounted for only 10. This tracks the date, tracks with varied data released by individual cities. Let's see, in 2018, semi-automatic rifles accounted for around 7% of guns used in crimes in 10 large cities, including Baltimore, Kansas City, Missouri, and Seattle. FBI tracks the type of guns used in homicides. According to their data, which serves as a repository for national crime stats, 5,992 people were killed with handguns in 2021. The most recent year such data is available. Another 447 people were killed with rifles, accounting for just 4% of gun homicides. And there's 4,711 people who killed unidentified guns, which could be handguns and rifles. If the data that they have, that they know, 5,992 people with handguns, only 447. I think in that 4,711, it'll be that same ratio. So we're looking at roughly from 4 to 5, maybe 6% of gun homicides are AR-15 rifles, things like that, rifles and stuff, where 96% of them are handguns. So they want to ban AR-15 rifles, because of the mass shootings. Mass shootings, let's see, I think it said somewhere. Mass shootings accounted for less than 2% of gun deaths in 2022. But even from back then to today, handguns is the most used weapon. Like if you go to the murders in Chicago and all these major, places where crime is the heaviest, the biggest crime cities in America, you will see that pistols, handguns, small guns that you could fit inside of a bag in your pocket. They put them in their hoodies. They put them in the back of their pants. Those kinds of weapons are the ones that they're using to kill all these people, to kill each other on black crimes and robberies. Black people killing white people killing black people, cops killing and people killing cops. It all happens. It's just human beings making very bad decisions to shoot each other. It's not the weapons, and they're trying to they want to control us because if they can ban AR-15s and they know that they shoot just the same as pistols, then eventually once they ban AR-15s, they'll say, well, pistols are still killing people. Maybe we need to get rid of those too and ban those. But they won't get rid of them for law enforcement or the military. And that's a dangerous place to be, where the people who are over who have power over you, so to speak, even though police officers, law enforcement are public servants, they're here to serve and protect. So we really kind of technically have power over them, but they, we have a lot of abusive power with a lot of police, but not all. Just there's a section of them that do that. Shout out to all the good cops out there. Good cops out there, keep doing what you're doing and inspire these bad cops, and make sure you go and you tell on these these bad cops. Don't be like, have this mentality of I ain't no rat. That's that street mentality that gets people killed and murdered all the time. So let's not bring that into law enforcement. Just make sure we smoke out all the bad cops and smoke out all the bad people. That's what we want to do. We want to get rid of all the bad people, not get rid of them, like, kill them, but, get them out of positions to where they're putting in a place where they can have people in harm's way, and that's detrimental to people and their livelihood and their well-being and their health and safety and security and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, they want to ban all these guns, man. Like that's the Second Amendment was put in place so that just in case the government decides that the government going too crazy and they're trying to control us and turn us into like a communist state, then we can protect ourselves against it. We can protect ourselves against people who try anyone who's trying to cause harm to us, anyone who's trying to take away our rights, our human rights, and our rights in this country, our constitutional rights. Anyone who's trying to impose on that, who's trying to, you know, take those away from us. We can protect ourselves in many different ways, and the Second Amendment gives us a way that someone's trying to take our life or trying to come at us with harm. If they come at us with a gun, then we should be able to have one to protect ourselves. All right, and it's guns that are fine. It's people who are not fine. Guns, are used for protection. Guns are used for sport. You can go, people go hunting with guns, and people go and have shooting like in targets and in the range, and they have speed shooting. It's fun. You ever been to the range? You should go to the range if you've never been to the range. If you're in a state where you have gun ranges and stuff, I suggest you should go. I definitely recommend it to you. It's so much fun. It's the people. It's not all people. It's just a certain people that commit the crimes. It's the person. And here we go. Let's look at this. Let's look at this one here. This was a question that was posed on the internet. Can a gun go off by itself in normal conditions without being dropped, heated up, shaken, having design issues, or having the state altered in any other way? Can it go off without anyone touching the trigger? That was a question asked. The answer that someone gave was, can a gun go off by itself? I have an antique revolver. It's 102 years old. It's probably an exaggeration. It's just barely new enough that it is safe to fire modern ammunition. This gun has none of the modern safety features. The recommended method of carry for this pistol was hammered down on an empty chamber because the firing pin is built into the hammer. If the hammer is on a live round and you drop the gun, it will very likely go off. Here's the catch. The cylinder doesn't lock. It's not even designed to. In normal carry, it is quite possible for the cylinder to rotate around into battery. By today's standards, it would be hard to find a gun less safe. Less safe. So that means it's it's a very unsafe, gun in the wrong hands, basically. You got to be careful. You can't drop it. Because, it can go off by itself. No, not by itself. It's because you dropped it. Well, we'll keep going. Why do I keep it around? Because knowing all of this, I also know that unless it is loaded, so you have to first load it, because if you drop an unloaded gun, it's not going to shoot anybody. It's not going to go off and accidentally. It's not going to accidentally fire and harm anyone or anything. And someone drops it or actually pulls the trigger. It will take you to pull that trigger. It will just lay there till it turns into a pile of rust and never go off. Believing otherwise is like believing your car will start itself and drive off without you. Your car can't drive off without you. Your gun can't fire without you doing something to cause it to fire. You have to load the gun. You have to put rounds in the gun. And a lot of guns, even if you have a magazine full of rounds, if you don't chamber a round, the gun will not fire a round. Right? So like at work, we have to chamber a round, and we have to put the mag in, and then press the slide so the gun slides so it chambers around, and then we take the mag out and we holster it, and then we put the mag back in, just so that there's no issues. But it has to be a round chamber. But if we just took the mag and the gun was in its normal, and the slide wasn't pulled back, the gun was just in its normal state, just without the mag, and we put a full mag in, there's no round chambered. So there's no threat yet until you pull back the slide. And then if you pull the trigger, the gun will fire. So you have to physically do a bunch of things in order for the gun to be able to fire. And then you have to pull the trigger. In most guns today, if you drop it, it's not going to fire. Like, it would take a lot. Like they said in the beginning, like, without being heated up, dropping, shaking, having designers, all that stuff, being altered. So a lot of stuff would have to happen. People would have to do to make that gun fire. Gun will not shoot itself. Just like your car won't drive itself. All right? Car might roll away if you turn it on, but you have to turn it on. You shouldn't leave your car running in it because accidents happen. That is something caused by something you did, though. All right? So you can't blame guns, just like you can't blame the car for car accidents. You can't blame the gun for a shooting. The person who was driving the car caused the car accident, whether it was property damage or someone lost their life or someone was severely harmed. A person did that. So a gun will not cause any damage to anyone if it's not a person who's making it cause damage. So if a gun shoots somebody and kills somebody, that person is to blame, not the gun. So we shouldn't be going after guns and banning all these guns. It doesn't matter how many guns you ban. If you don't address the problem that there's hate in people's heart and there's evil in this world and things that we need to address with people in the mental state of people and get more love and more God into this world, into this country, then no matter how many guns you take away from people, people will find a way to still commit these acts of violence and still commit these murders and ending people's lives senselessly. It'll still keep happening. I'll go to scripture. Matthew chapter 5, verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. All right. It's talking about the people. It's not talking about any person in specific, no race, no gender, no nothing like that. It's talking about anyone. It says anyone, whosoever, anyone who kills shall be in danger of the judgment of it. It's not talking about the weapon. It doesn't talk about the weapon used. Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Let God take care of it. It's just don't get angry and go and get your revenge on someone. Don't let your anger and your heart make you go and do bad stuff to people. Let God take care of it, because God will righteously judge what's going on and he will fix the situations. You let him take care of it. All right. God's not always, you want to go and kill somebody. That doesn't mean God's going to go and kill somebody. He's going to take care of it somehow, somebody. Like I always say, the best revenge on anyone is for your life to be great, for you to do big things, for you to do great things, for you to be happy, for you to be living a wonderful life. And you can get that wonderful life if you let Jesus in your heart. If you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, then you can have that wonderful life, because you get that peace that when situations come, you know that you have a risen Savior who has died for your sins and will forgive you for the mistakes that you make. And you know that he is there protecting you, as his angels around you, and God is taking care of you and setting you up when you have your faith to have a great and abundant life. He will bless you abundantly. And if you believe that, because I believe that wholehearted, you will have that great life and you won't have to worry about what people are doing. And we'll have less crime, we'll have less murders. I don't think we'll ever have none, because not everybody is gonna, believe. Not everybody's gonna go and do the right thing, because we all sin and fall short. We can just pray for a better world, for a better country, and for more people to find love and find God in their heart. All right. There was another incident in Oklahoma that I wanna show you the video of. Let's
Breaking news overnight. 4 people shot during a high school football game in Oklahoma. ABC's Derek Dennis is here with the latest on that. Good morning to you, Derek.
Good morning, Gio. Hard to imagine gunshots ringing out at Friday night football, but it happened in the middle of the country and everyone went running.
What is going on?
What's happening?
I have no idea what's happening.
Overnight, the terrifying moment, a mass shooting broke out at an Oklahoma high school football game called
They're just trying to play football.
Oh, we've got people shooting.
Oh my goodness, where?
I don't know.
You see people on the floor.
Chaos erupts on the field.
I don't think those
Players
people,
running in
all
all
those people laying
directions,
down, or
some
people who
diving
got
to the
shot.
ground.
People are down on the field.
But
A couple of our officers off duty traveled over here with Del City to work security for that side. All I can tell you at this point that a Del City officer was involved in the shooting.
Police say shots rang out at Choctaw High School around 10:30 p.m. 4 people were shot, at least one of them a student who was treated for a gunshot wound to her thigh.
There's 4.
It is sad. It is very sad that these things happen. And notice in that one, they didn't talk about race. They didn't talk about what kind of gun it was used, because it sounded like it was a pistol. Most likely it was a pistol. And it was probably a black person shooting. Now, from what I heard, it was a black person who the suspect. And I don't know if they have him in custody. The video, as far as the video goes, they didn't have anyone in custody yet. But there was a black person who was shooting, and I think it was the same. Black people got shot, or at least some were black and some were. But they didn't bring up race because this one wasn't racially motivated. So there's no agenda. So this one didn't get as much press. But we need, as you can see, it's the heart of man that needs to be addressed. Like we need to get people to address their inner problems so that we can end all this senseless violence. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what your race is, what your background is. We all need to come together, and more love needs to be in this world. And we need to stop focusing on race, stop focusing on gender and all this crazy, stuff that's going on in this world, all these distractions, and people need to stop worrying about all these material things and start, bringing back the family, a mother and father in the house, a husband and wife, to raise the kids. And we need to put God back in people's lives. We need to stop getting people, in all these schools, they took out God, they didn't let you pray in school and all that stuff. We need to get back to where we're supposed to be. God is the center of our lives, and that's what we need more of. If more people were following God, if more people went to church, then less people would commit these kinds of crimes, and more people would inspire people. Like, opportunity is for everyone. No one is being held back by anything but themselves. In these impoverished neighborhoods, and these crime filled neighborhoods, the worst neighborhoods in the world. Every single one of those people living in those high crime, neighborhoods, every single one of them have the same opportunities to live better, to do better, to go to school, to make, a living, to get a job, just like every other person in every other place in this country. No one is different from anyone as far as that goes. Everyone has equal opportunity, equal rights. Will you do the work to do it, to go and get it? A lot of people are choosing not to, and a lot of people choosing violence, and that's because there's a lot of mental health issues going around in this world, especially in this country, and we need to address those. We need to address people. We need to stop blaming it on circumstance, blaming it on guns, blaming it on environments. We need to get to the people. Look in the mirror. Everyone needs to go and look in the mirror, because that's where it starts. You're going to be your first line of defense of violence is, let me look in the mirror. And I tell people all the time, we are at a crossroad every time, every decision that we make, where you can either make a good decision or a bad decision. It's like time slows down, kind of like in the Matrix, or like in the Flash, where like you have doors in front of you. Like, I always go through this, and I tell my kids this all the time. It's like, I see my choices before, it's like in a split second, but it's like slows it down. And I'm like, I'm gonna decide to do, and you can see, and you think about what the consequences, what to come, and you can either let your emotions get the best of you, you still make a bad decision, but you're choosing to do that, and I think everybody goes through that. I could be speaking for myself. Let's talk about it in the comments. Does anybody else feel that way, that right before you about to do something, like you see all the decisions and you see all the consequences of them, and then you choose, like in that split second, but it's like it's slowed down to allow you to make a conscious decision. That's how I feel it happens. And I like to be on the right side of making better decisions, making good decisions. And it'd be a good decision if you go to my Etsy shop and you purchase some merch. If you get this shirt right here, the Pro Second Amendment shirt. Let's stand up for our constitutional rights, to stand up for, protecting our families, and keeping each other safe, keeping ourselves safe, keeping this world safe, keeping this country safe, keeping your neighborhood safe, just being safe and showing more love and compassion. I pray that I never have to use my guns for anything except for when I go to the range and have fun with them. But I want to be able to protect my kids and my wife and my home from anybody who's trying to cause us harm. But there will be less people causing harm if more people turn to God. All right. We don't have to agree. You don't have to do what I say. You don't have to follow what I follow. You don't have to believe what I believe. We can still be cool. We can still be friends. I still love you all with the love of Christ, because that's what it really is to be a Christian. It's not religious. It is about relationship. I have a relationship with God, and I invite you to have one as well. And we can talk about it. So hit me in the comment section and we can talk about it. Let's talk about this topic. What do you think about guns? Are you pro guns? Are you against guns? Do you think guns kill people, or do you think people kill people? Let's talk about it in the comment section. This is Vessels TV. This is another video. And until the next one, peace and love, y'all. I'm out. Make sure you like, share, subscribe.